books are for white folks. They're full of things your kind wouldn't understand.
By a process that is turning blacks into a permanent underclass here, Frank. A permanent underclass. No, see, nobody wants to talk about that.
And we are back again, and today we will be discussing the anti-intellectualism that is prominent and dominates Black American culture, right? This anti-intellectual take, this anti-intellectual normality which has been brought into hip hop culture, it's an American thing, sure, but in Black America, it dominates and it rules, and this mentality of anything that's too deep is something that you want to step away from, right? This is a mentality that we have to break free from because this mentality has put us in mental shackles, right? Now, on the plantation, one of the things that they kept from us was reading, right? They did not want the slaves to learn how to read because if the slaves knew how to read, the slaves would, gain power and knowledge, right? And when you study some of those rebellions, like the Nat Turner Rebellion, it was due to the origin being that he knew how to read, right? He knew how to read the Bible. He was trained how to read the Bible, so he was able to break free, right? The knowledge gave him the power, right? And it wasn't, to say this too, it wasn't that blacks at the time couldn't read. It was that they couldn't read English, right? They couldn't read that language. Now, the ones that did learn how to read became more dangerous because they were able to break free from the shackles, right? The mental shackles first, and then they were able to break free physically, right? So when you look at Harriet Tubman, right, you got to understand that she studied the Bible because of reading, right? This reading gave her the power and gave her the knowledge. So we look at hip hop and we look at MCs like legendary MCs like Rakim Allah, right? Who didn't use curse words in his rhymes because that was how important the vocabulary mattered at the time, right? If you used a lot of curse words, it was almost like you were less skilled, right? You were less skilled if you used the same word twice. In the same verse, you were seen as less skilled, right? This was a play on vocabulary in hip hop. In hip hop, you don't play instruments, right? You don't have to have a singing ability that you have to master at the church or master over hours and hours of learning how to sing. So what made this art form a real art form was the ability to be poetical and to be able to write, right? So writing was an aspect, and then Jay-Z, Biggie poisoned niggas, and then Jay-Z poisoned niggas with the I don't have to write. I'm gonna just say whatever comes to my mind off the hip. And some people have the ability to do it. Do I believe that it's true? I personally don't believe that Biggie or Jay-Z. I believe that both of them wrote. That's just my opinion, and they were able to memorize lyrics that they wrote. But every now and then they may have shot some stuff off the hip. However, that mentality that even Wayne pushed on other people during the time, that was getting you away from the arts, right? This is the arts. Hip hop is special when it deals with the arts, and the arts is it's special because it's liberal arts. It deals with psychology, right? The liberal arts deals with going back to ancient Greece, and even if you want to go further than that, right, where they got their information from, right, which was Kemet. So we have to understand that the anti-intellectualism is so not us when we really do the knowledge, right? So when hip hop first started, you had to be nice with your pen, and then it got to the point where you had to be a lyricist, right? When I was growing up, even in the early 2000s, a lot of people didn't necessarily want to rap because they was like, yo, that's going to take too long to have to perfect my skill. And then it became to a point where it got more simplistic, and then it became to a point where everybody can do it, right? The conscious rapper began to be made fun of about 1993, 1994. Remember, Tupac didn't want to play the conscious brother in the film, Menace Society, right? So you got to understand that this was a thing going on to make fun of intellectual black Americans at the time, and it was pushed through media, and it took place in real life also, right? But this mentality uh, is to the point where now you see they say 85% of black boys in fourth grade cannot read at a proficient reading level, right? And if you cannot read, right, you will, your chances of going to jail is linked to that. Your chances of being less successful in life is linked to that, right? So hip hop um, is a way for us to uh, at its origin, it's a way for us to use our voices to speak on things that were not being covered by media, by news media, right? And right now you have so much going on, and we have our mainstream hip hop guys don't even touch on it. Right now we have more platforms. They don't touch on it in the music, and then we have platforms where they can access millions of their fans, and they won't even use their big platforms to speak on things that are real, such as what I'm speaking on right now, right? 85% of black boys in fourth grade can't read at proficient reading level, and when you have huge platforms like never before, you would think that these black artists would speak on things like this, right? They would use their platform for things like this, but instead they don't. They use their platforms to sell you uh, products from other races, right? And products that most people can't afford to begin with, right? So that's not necessarily for the culture, and this is an anti-intellectual um, issue that's going on in America, but it's plaguing the Black American community. Young kids don't see the value in reading, right? They have parents that don't read, right? Parents that don't take them to libraries. Libraries are free, right? A library card is free. You can check out as many books as you want and bring them back, and then check out some more, right? So we have to, as parents, take our kids to the library, right? Take our kids to the bookstore, our local bookstore, support your bookstores. This issue with the anti-intellectual uh, mentality in the black community is also the reason why people don't even like lyrical rap anymore, right? If the more lyrical the rapper is, the more that they want to make fun of that rapper just for using more words or being lyrical. You know what I'm saying? Speaking on subjects that deal with more than just um, money, clothes, hoes, sex, right? These are uh, subjects that everybody touches on these days. It's a safe subject, right? You say gangster rap is busting guns and talking about robbing and killing and all that. I say that's safe. I say that's not gangster rap today's time. That's what the labels will allow you to rap about, right? But the stuff the real gangster rap is the intellectual hip hop that challenges minds and pushes fans to hear that and want to do knowledge on that, right? Nas said it's five. Nas said 5% said it's pork and jello, right? This is hip hop was a place where if you didn't sometimes if you didn't have a father, right, or you didn't have a big homie, hip hop was a place you could listen to some Nas and you could learn some stuff, right? You could listen to KRS-One and you could learn something. You could listen to Kendrick right now for the younger guys and learn something because he's still carrying that torch, right? So um, that's the power of hip hop. The power of hip hop is um, not necessarily um, to also understand art and understand that this is a genre that deals with words, right? The Black American in America, right? Since being enslaved, does not have a 400-year reading history, right? That's what the master teachers would say. We don't have a long reading history in America, right? We can't afford to be like, y'all, nah, I don't want to read. Y'all, I don't like books. Nah, that nigga too deep. Yo, that nigga using big words. She rapping about pyramids and stuff. Yo, that's remember Hove was making fun of Nas with that. Hove was making fun of Nas. Nigga, you trying to get not, nigga, you trying to kick knowledge? Nah, I'm trying to kick this shit you need to learn though. to make your soul burn slow and who won the battle, right? Because when it come down to it, you got to understand that the more pure MC, which was Nas at the time, right? The more pure MC, which is Kendrick at the time, right? And when it all goes back to the essence, the more pure MC always wins the battle, and it always comes to a battle between a low frequency MC and a high frequency MC, both from the black community, and these represent archetypes, and these archetypes in their clash, right? So our mainstream is not controlled by us. Our mainstream is controlled by another group, and that group gets to sign the rappers that you like. And you say, how can I stop the rappers? How can I stop them from signing your sexy reds, your rappers who don't have talent, who use the same 5 words over and over and over and over and over, and they blow up and get famous, versus the rappers who have something to say, like No Name, that don't get a lot of fame and promotion on their side, right? You use your attention to not support those rappers, and you beat that system. Their system is set up around. They know what you like. They know that you find value in numbers, right? Oh, they think that this is hot because we give it so many numbers. We control the algorithm, and we control the Spotify monthly listeners, so we can just create playlists and put these artists that we want them to listen to into a playlist and generate numbers, and they'll look at them and say, well, this must be hot because look at the numbers, right? So you beat that by understanding that, right? When you see Elon Musk tamper with the follower count on X, you know that there's power in controlling the numbers. So because the numbers are blinding to people who don't want to do the knowledge, they just want to look at the numbers, right? Numbers don't always tell the full story, and numbers can be manipulated. So numbers, in fact, do lie, right? Numbers don't show talent. Um, if you go to YouTube right now and you type in a holistic health teacher video, more than likely it has less views from a NBA YoungBoy video. I am an NBA YoungBoy fan, you know what I'm saying? However, you get the drift where I'm going with that, right? The stuff that's not good for you, the baddies probably doing better numbers than the holistic health teacher. So numbers don't actually tell the truth. Numbers don't actually mean anything. But numbers is a way that they can control you if your mind is not bigger than just being caught by shiny words, shiny cars, right? You know, so again, this anti-intellectual behavior that's pushed into young kids, right? Young kids is the reason why so many black kids see talking intellectual as talking white, right? Going to school every day as being white. We have to break this type of mental shackles, which haunts our community to this day, where we see Kendrick Lamar have to create a GNX album to finally get his credit from fans who thought Mr. Morale and To Pimp a Butterfly was too artistic, too deep, too socially conscious, right? You have to come down to a lower level. You know, Euphoria has too many big words, too many words, no hook. But you love They Not Like Us, They Not Like Us, They Not Like Us, They Not Like Us. Well, he literally has to sneak in a conscious verse over a club beat to sell it to you, right? We are better than this as a people, and we have to break the shackles of the mental slavery and understand that the fact that 85% of black male fourth graders in America in 2025 cannot read at a proficient level is a crisis, and that's a crisis that needs to be discussed, right? Domestic violence is on the rise in the black community. Young teenage girls are being gunned down, right? And they say women are, so many sisters is dominating the rap game right now. Okay, well, do something with your platform. You know, address all the sisters that are being caught up in domestic violence. It's 1 million black girls missing right now in America. Address that, right? Address that with your platform. But you don't want to come off as too conscious for your people because you may lose your base, and that's why we have to break out of this. This music is affecting us because the less words, the more you love it, right? The more complex, the more you hate it. And that's also showing up in our education system. It's showing up with our kids. It's showing up with our films, right? uh our films, the Tubi films that you love, right? The dumbed down Tyler Perry movies Tyler Perry just did a decent movie, so I won't beat up on him too bad this year. But you get my point, right? Despite you didn't like Spike Lee, but you loved Tyler Perry, right? So we have to make way for new Spike Lees to come, right? And we're seeing at the Oscars, you don't see many black films get nominated because many of them don't seem to be you know Oscar worthy enough. And to be honest, many of them are not because they don't want to challenge the minds of the people, right? They don't want to challenge the mind, and some of that is because they feel like this base is anti-intellectual and that they will not be able to appreciate a lot of dialogue in the film, right? Creativity in films, right? You need something that's simple, right? And we have to break free from that because I know that we are smarter than that. Um, Start taking your kids to bookstores. Start taking your kids to start letting your kids see you read, right? Let your kids see you read. And a lot of these bookstores is nice too. Like you could take a chick on a date in these bookstores, right? They got coffee and all that in there. So, you know what I mean? We gotta. It's okay to. I always call niggas nerds, right? Because like in a sense, like growing up, certain guys hate when I say that, but I'm saying like I was taught to see nerd as a good thing over a period of time. I consider myself a film nerd, a hip hop head nerd, you know what I'm saying? A history nerd. I embraced it. I embrace it, right? And I make it look good. And that's something that we have to be able to show our kids, right? I wish that I would have took school more serious as I got older. You know what I'm saying? I was in the streets. I remember I was in the streets. We was all in the streets. We was in the trash spot. I got one last story before we bounce, right? Call it a day. My man's right, he went to the Marines. I'm not telling everybody, do what works for you, right? Shout out to all the brave soldiers though. But I had a partner who went to the Marines, right? We all played the streets. He went to the Marines. He getting his life together, right? It's at times we have more money than him. We doing what we doing, but you don't want to be the old trapper, right? It's no longevity in that. You catch a case after case, and case after case. Now your record getting hard. It's hard for you to get jobs if one day you do want to go legit, right? So the guys who took school serious, the girls who took school serious while we was playing, while niggas was fly, we was flying. But the people that took shit serious, in the end, you know, we realized that man, that degree might have helped. Man, that degree might have helped niggas. You know what I'm saying? Man, that teacher was telling the truth, bruh. That teacher said my partner Cameron was gonna get gunned down, and he did. Cause we didn't take life serious. My partner RP, my partner Tyrus. Everybody who know, yo, I love Tyrus, man. That's my brother. Yo, Tyrus could not read, and we used to make fun of him in school. I had another partner named Jermaine. Jermaine couldn't read, right? They couldn't read. They was not good readers, right? And we used to play the game popcorn in school, and we didn't know no better. We would pick niggas that couldn't read, you know what I'm saying, to get a laugh, but it was not funny, right? That I'm pretty sure that haunted them, and that wasn't their fault. That was, parents' fault. That was teachers' fault. They kept passing them. You know what I mean? I went to school, my 12th grade year. I went to school high as hell every day. Drugs on me in the school at times. I only went to school like three days a week, and I still passed and graduated. That's a problem, right? And that happened at a black, predominantly black school, right? Where the teachers didn't care. Teachers didn't care. They just passed us, even when we didn't show up, right? So, and a lot of HBCUs was like that, right? I spent time at Benedict. I spent time on these campuses, right? Uh, and not all of them, but a lot of niggas ain't showing up. And this is anti-intellectualism going on even at college. You see HBCUs having shootings, right? Right? Because niggas is not there to learn. We here to learn, right? So to bring it back home, I got on my soapbox, right? My TED talk for today. However, to bring it back home, for hip hop to grow and remain the genre that it is, yes, it's dead. Mainstream wise, it's dead. It is dead. It's been dead since Nas said it was dead in '07, right? All the lean with it, right? I was a kid and we liked it and all that, but I didn't understand what Nas was saying at the time. But as I get older, you see the big picture, right? All I'm saying is today's times we have access to tools, right? We have access to control our media. We can't control the mainstream, but we can't control our media. We have platforms that can push so many great artists out right now. I don't want to go down naming names because I'll miss some. You know what I'm saying? But there's so many talented artists that are putting it down right now. But since they are lyrical, you don't want to listen to it, right? Since they are lyrical, you don't want to listen to it. Since they are socially conscious, you don't want to listen to it, right? And that's a problem because hip hop was a place at one time where you wanted to be intellectual, where you wanted to be knowledgeable. Again, KRS-One brought knowledge to. He was one talking knowledge in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? This is one of our great outlets, right? Um, Rakim didn't curse because it was a flex that I got so much vocabulary I don't have to curse. And then you got song where it's just pussy nigga, you know what I'm saying? Over and over, and that's the hit. So we gotta try to fix that, you know, and we need to try to fix that in our community. And we all can start at our own homes with our own children. You know what I'm saying? Teach the kids to read. Let them kids see you read. You know what I'm saying? Let them kids see you read. And then, you know, they get the hip hop and then they'll listen to some of that stuff and they'll be like, I ain't feeling that. Because, again, one last story. Vic is a diehard Nas fan, right? But it wasn't always like that, right? At one time, I loved Hove first because Hove was a little bit easier to listen to, right? Hove, not saying Hove wasn't lyrical, but his concepts and his words was a little bit easier to follow for an adolescent, right? Especially a street adolescent, right? So I couldn't understand everything that Nas was saying at the time, so I didn't like it, right? It was more too easier to follow. H to the is O, V to the is A. That's the anthem. You know what I'm saying? Hey Poppy. That was way easier to follow than Nas, the Afrocentric Asian, half amazing. But you know, it's levels to it. It's levels to it. Drake is easier to follow than the Kendrick. You know, people say, what's because this is what I like. Well, no, yeah, it may be what you like, but it's also a level of intellect that it requires to understand a artist that is not using so many simple, catchy hooks, right? Versus an artist that's giving you dialogue. Even in the YouTube sphere, that I'm in the YouTube sphere, or even like on X, right, in social media, the black accounts that are bigger usually deal with less information, less like this. Look, okay, for example, before I go, you got Drewski, you got Drewski, you got Shade Room, you got uh Casanat, right? You got all these. These are your black platforms, right? None of them deal with big time knowledge, right? No dialogue really. But these are your popular podcast streamers, right? That don't deal with any real dialogue, any real information, just gossip, and entertainment, right? That's our culture, entertainment. But when you look on the other side, where you find Joe Rogan, you find Lex Friedman, you find I'm not saying you have to agree with what they're speaking on. I disagree with a lot of things that they speak on. However, you see that they even Theo Von, who I don't like at all, right? Still dealing with realer subjects on this platform. You know, inviting guests that can bring more dialogue, right? That's something that our culture used to have, but now it lacks, and that's intentional. I'm not gonna go into it on this one, but that's intentional, and we have to break free from those shackles. And how did Harriet, how did Nat Turner break free to have those rebellions that you always speak about? It was knowledge. It was knowledge. They started reading, they got the knowledge, and they broke free, right? Like Malcolm X, how did Malcolm X break free from the street stuff? He got the knowledge. He read the dictionary every day while he was locked up. So books are powerful. Books are knowledge. Words. More words, the better. Right? The more words, the better. So don't think that in hip hop is any different. Right? If you listen to a MC and he giving you a lot of words, a lot of social conscious, you leaving with that. Leaving with that. That's better than just a high of just I like that song. I like that song. That's cool. That's cool. I like that song. Right. You have to understand that we can't afford to listen to hours and hours of bullshit music, bullshit media, right? Not with what's going on, not with what's at risk, right? With again, 85% of fourth grade black boys can't read at proficient level, right? And what they listening to. I wanna wonder what they listening to and what they parents listening to. I can guarantee you it ain't nothing deep, right? It ain't nothing that's heavy in the knowledge. I guarantee you that. On that note, we out, family. Peace.